Hello and welcome to my Minecraft Kingdom series. I'm Golsey and today we're gonna build an even bigger and better arena in my survival world. If you end up enjoying, please do leave a like and also share the video around if you can. Thank you so much. I also found it about time to go for full netherite armor and tools. I've spent almost 1 year in this world and it's about time. Unlike many hardcore YouTubers, I'm not going for an amount of netherite enough for a full beacon. I'm really not interested in any of that. I like to have my elytra on and a golden helmet so piglins don't declare war on me. Also, I rarely use a sword instead of that using an axe. So really I only need netherite ingots for 2 pieces of armor, 2 pickaxes, 1 axe and a shovel. Phase 1. Demolition. The first order of business is some demolition work. The main structure is remaining, but with a few changes I think the look will definitely improve. Starting with these 2. Now let's find the quickest way to get rid of these 2 towers. I got some TNT left from the netherite expedition. Okay, let's be careful with the TNT flying everywhere. In the first video on this arena I said, it is always good to add special features to your build. And in that thought I designed these towers with gates in between. However, I was never very happy with this design on this specific build. I tried to bring in the wooden elements from the pillars going around the arena back into the towers, so it would be cohesive. And to be fair, it is cohesive. A cohesive mess that is. I'm very sure this design and style could work very well on another build, and with slight modifications even fit in as a city wall design very well. However, this just isn't quite the place for it, hence why all of it needs to go. And finishing clearing the first tower, now there's still 3 more of these to go. Let's quickly get into destroying the second one. In previous videos, some of you kind commenters requested if I could have more conversation in the videos, instead of the music parts. A bit of relief music will be in there, but with this video I will be pushing the music a bit to the background and have more of my thought process in these episodes. I also do get it, as videos are also very nice to have on in the background for a bit while playing Minecraft. And with some random music, which is not everyone's style, this works a little less good. Please do let me know if this is better, as many of you already give great feedback on these videos, which I have to say absolutely helps a lot. And the last part of destruction on this section is the middle, where I intended entrance gates to go in. With open archways up top and big wooden doors on ground level, I thought this would be a nice break from the monotony of all the pillars going around. With the new pillar and arch supporting design, these special features won't be necessary at all and look completely good on their own. That's a big hole in the build, and it's getting way worse before it gets much better. And the same goes for the other side. The second part that needs removing are these very thin, unstable looking pillars. The design itself isn't bad, but not completely fitting with a build of this size. And that needs to happen to all of these pillars. And yes, that's a lot, but it has to happen. 2 videos ago I asked you about the usage of shaders in my videos, and this is the very first video reverting back to not using them, like pretty much everybody suggested. Please let me know if you prefer it this way. The cinematics at the end will of course be with shaders still. It's all looking a bit worse for wear now. This looks so absolutely weird. But now luckily comes the fun part, building it all back up again. Better than ever. At least I think it's better than ever. Please do let me know in the comments if you consider this new version an improvement. After of course I've built it, not this current new version. Phase 2. Building it all back up again. Better than ever. I'm first marking in all the places where the pillars will go in. These will be 4 blocks thick instead of just the 1, with a base of stone brick and andesite walls going all the way to the top. First though, measuring it all out. And okay, before building the pillars up, I'm first fixing these massive holes in the build. I can't stand to look at them any longer. This is crazy ugly. Now let's gather all the resources I need for this part of the build, which will be mainly andesite. That is 90% andesite walls. I chose these instead of cobble or stone brick to give a little bit of variation, yet let the texture be very subtle still. If Minecraft ever decides to add stone walls to the game, I will be all for it, which is really weird actually that specifically those walls aren't in the game, but the closest to them is andesite, so that is what I will be using. For the design of this open gap, the build will not vary much from the other sections. It will become the same continuous design, which I think would suit the build much better. That's already much better. Now, the pillars to fix and finish the outside of the arena. I went for a design with andesite walls, 4 blocks thick, with stone brick and chisel tuff in places where it connects to each floor, with a little arch between each column out of stone brick walls and stairs. Building up all these pillars is hopefully entertaining enough to watch, because there's between 10 and 10 million of them, so lots and lots to be done. The small advantage of it is though, that all these pillars are 100% identical, and with them all measured out and counted on the floor, this makes the building process very quick. And this is one full section to show how it's gonna look. Let's do this all the way around. I think it looks a lot better this way, a lot stronger. Let's go and build it. Now that first section in looks very promising, and it does give me the motivation to keep on cracking with this transformation. Looking at it in the time lapse looks actually pretty nice and smooth, and to be fair, building it kind of was as well. Would it have been far quicker and wiser to refine the design before constructing it all in survival? Absolutely. Did I do that though? Absolutely not. Now, the reason I landed on a 4 block wide design on this is because, like I said, I wasn't totally happy with the build. And thinking of the famous landmark Colosseum of Rome, which looks incredibly beautiful, I started comparing the two and how my build could get closer to its real life counterpart. Not that this was ever meant to be an exact copy in the game. It was the weird towers and the flimsy pillars. Also, mixing in wooden supports with massive stone build doesn't look like it makes very much sense at all. I did go for a slimmer design before, but unfortunately there are no stone fences either. A thicker version of those stone-like walls and a smaller version like the wooden fences in the stone variant would go such a long way for designing in this game. Far more than any new block would do. However, that's the waiting game. With that said, all the pillars are in now. Yes, this is far more what I was aiming for. Such a more solid structure. Finally reached the point of progression now, with the new additions instead of changes. I'm still maybe thinking of blocking this top layer off with some stone to give it more structure. Also you can see through the build, and with that the walls behind it slightly. I'm not sure what I like better. I'll have a quick sleep over it and continue the build tomorrow. And so it became tomorrow. And I decided to block the top layer off, because I think that would improve it. Nope, doesn't improve it at all. Gotta rip it all out again then. Alright then, we're back. Phase 2.5, the walls surrounding the kingdom. For a bit I will also continue this wall section in this corner. I already made an episode about the wall design, yet seeing how big this wall actually is, it would take about 3 to 4 episodes more. Which would be a boring watch, I think. So I will be building some sections of the wall included in other episodes, but not show a whole lot of it, of course. This video is about the Colosseum. This tower is coming along very nicely and is the slightly smaller and slimmer design of the two types I made in this kingdom. The biggest main towers are reserved for the entrances into the kingdom, as the defense is needed there most, with the weakest part being the gates to protect. Two towers like this I will build further on the wall later. Unlike with the earlier build, which I will link up above now, if I don't forget, these wall sections are built on a slight elevation, and yeah, it does save a bit of time as the top part stays leveled, but building it is still more of a hassle than on flat ground. I experimented in my creative world with elevation changes on the wall, but it looked kinda weird with such a big design, so that's why I decided to keep it all leveled like this. I can imagine when I would build smaller walls with smaller towers, it would look very nice to run them over mountains as well. These fire lanterns give me an idea for the Colosseum. I'll show you later. So yeah, I did a lot. In the video this seems very quick, but I almost regret not showing it off. This took me a whole week to do, with long days of playing included. Looks good, but not that fun after so many towers. Anyway, this sector of the kingdom is finally finished off and looking nice. At one end I connected it to my city bridge, as I'm ending the wall on this side. There would realistically be no reason to build a wall all over the water, as it's already defensible enough. I did however also make an entryway for the river via this way for smaller city boats carrying cargo. But coming from the wall, the Colosseum is surrounded. Now it's finally time to get on with building that arena. Phase 3, improving the inside of the arena. I just told about the fire lanterns on the wall. I had to quickly check my notes because a week has now passed. I'm going to add those in the arena as well to add a bit of lighting and atmosphere around the build. But before that, in the spirit of lighting and detail, I'll be making some statues of dragon skulls with fire in them. And I think that will look really cool. I could have made the dragon skull statues out of a different color. I thought about green before, but that would stand out just a little too much on top of this Colosseum. The deep slate on additional details do help the build though. It is also the same color range after all. Black and grey don't differ a lot. Yeah, that looks awesome. I also decided to connect them up a bit. And with all that, it nicely finishes the top part. Was definitely missing something here. And this scratches that itch perfectly. And finally the fire beacons before moving inside the arena on the battlefield, which will receive a massive addition as well. Place from the middle, leave one lantern space in between and the next, and so forth. Thought to show you some nighttime shots now. You can see all the light does for the build, including with the lights on the walls of course. I think this looks much better. There will be more light in the stands, but for now let's modify the grounds of this sand pit. As you can see, there's now a large mound going into the center, and it is clear to tell the ground color is a little different. This is because I landed on adding smooth sandstone instead of the regular sand. Regular sand would have matched really well as well, but I wanted to make it more packed, as if the mound was made and not just natural. There just wouldn't be a random natural hill in the middle of an arena, of course. Also, it is a great excuse to not have to fill in the entire inside of the mound, as I would have had to do that with using sand. I said I wanted to make it look made and not natural. This is because of the thing going up top. I will be revealing that very soon. That is some big mound for something to go on. Something. I keep being mysterious, but you have seen the thumbnail, and yeah, I have been placing dragon and fire related things all around. It's gonna be a dragon. I did add some fire pits in the stands, but can't for the life of me find the time lapse of me building them. Small additions however, with a good impact. Now to the main feature of today, the dragon herself. Somebody advised me on using the Lightmatica mod, which I absolutely am doing. I usually make sure to not show it on screen though. If I wouldn't be using it, the dragon I designed previously would be quite impossible to build again from memory. Oh hello, phase 4. The dragon. And there are the main resources for the dragon. Now it's finally time to start the main build of today. The dragon will be laying on top of this sand mound, with its head off the edge and the body curved around like the shape of the ground. So that is the outline and size of the dragon. You can see its body snaking around, ending in a tail on this side. Also the stump ending here is where the dragon's head will attach to. To continue, I think I will first build up the body of the dragon and later add features like claws, the head, the fins and the wings. With the entire outline finished first, it became a lot easier to add the rest of the body of the dragon, with a semi-oval shape and the underside rolling out a little bit as its skin and scales would fold a bit when lying down. Like with the skull lanterns on top of the arena, I thought about the color of this dragon quite a lot. When I had built it in creative, I also built it in green and black variants. With the green I wanted to use a copper and prismarine mix to symbolize jade, which would fit in very nice with the Chinese vibe we got going on. This however looked a little too light though, and weird with the textures of the blocks used. Secondly, I thought about using black and grey, like the Minecraft and the dragon. This looked okay, but all the features and curves were totally masked by the color, which made everything blend together a lot. This is not ideal when you're trying to add a lot of detail to it. So the final choice landed on dark red, which is perfectly matched by red nether brick. And I think this is the perfect choice for the dragon. I may construct more dragons in this world as part of the lore, but that remains to be seen. The body is really shaping up nicely. Lastly, finishing the dragon's tail, and that is the main body of the dragon completed. Now this section looks a bit strange here. That's because one of the wings is going on top of here, hence why the odd shaping compared to the rest of it. In the empty outlines, its claws will still go in, and of course up front the head. Inside is empty, as filling it all in would be very wasteful. With this bulk part completed, it's now time to get into the finer details of this dragon. Looking at this part of the build on its own, it looks really weird and sloppy, especially with the head of the dragon missing here. This is not the case in the big picture though, and it will look completely correct and fitting in nicely. Of course, the feet or paws or claws look a little different as they are laying down and being a bit flattened by that. And the finer detailing starts off with the head, with the slightly open mouth and its black teeth showing. The dragon remains docile and asleep for now, and can be woken when the game starts and the drums are heard in the arena. The head of the dragon will be built to be slightly laying open, truly in mouth breather's ears. This is to show a bit more detail, like the teeth, and make the build look a bit more alive, like there's movement going on, which is a bit tricky in this lovely blocky game. And from the head we are moving to the wings of the dragon. Its wings need to be big enough to support its weight and look majestic. The wings will be built out of red nether brick, like the dragon's main body, which will make up the main bones of her wings, with a little bit of regular nether bricks to mix up the color a bit and act as a gradient into the third color of the wings, which will be brown terracotta. This terracotta, which I often still call stained clay, will be symbolizing the skin on the wings, which should be consisting of a lighter, more flexible material. For the final touches of the dragon, the large fins on her back. And with that, the dragon is complete. I made sure to curve all the spikes a little bit downward, as the dragon is relaxing and the gravity is pulling them down a bit. Now, the arena surrounding is looking good and the dragon is looking powerful. The dragon takes up quite a bit of space and will be part of the games that gladiators will be competing in. There will be a little tower on either side, and each team of warriors needs to distract the dragon from not firing towards their side. Before constructing those, I will be carving a scar in the landscape all along the dragon, showing some lava through for some extra show effects. So let's see that crack and finish this transformation off. Around about 15 minutes ago I said demolition was done, but there's still a bit more to go. I will be moving the ground 3 blocks down to make a little bit of an enclaving for lava to go in. This is not only for show effect, but also to add a little extra detail and interest to the battleground. The stands are of course unfortunately very empty, as nobody can actually come visit. Every villager is way too busy scamming any of us out of emeralds anyway. Oh no, it's all hollow underneath. Oh, help. For within the caverns, I filled them up with regular sandstone to give a bit of extra texture and have the look of the ground being cracked by the presence of the dragon on top. Later I will be adding some sandstone slabs to make the slope a bit more gradual. I will also do that for the mount the dragon lays on top of. And grabbing lots and lots of lava out of the nether and finally filling in the lava on the lowest level. With the last buckets of lava going in, this looks very nice. I also added a little pit with fire, as if the dragon breathed it out. Now we are ready for the final piece of the puzzle, which are some little battle towers where the gladiators will stand and fight from. The way to win is to outrun the dragon and the other gladiators for the duration of the games. Only one team can leave the arena, where both teams best be wary of waking the dragon, because once she awakes, nobody is safe. I was just recording a cinematic in the storm, but I think I spot a skeleton trap up there. Oh no, let's not go dead again. And that brings us to the final part of the video, phase 5, touring the build. The arena is looking majestic now, and I'm finally satisfied with it. I really want to show off some before and after shots of this place. It makes such a huge difference. The first obvious changes are the removed towers up front. In addition, exchanging the slim wooden pillars on the outside to some sturdier stone columns is a really nice change. It feels far more settled in its environment. I added some banners on the outside for some quick but needed extra decorations. On the inside, the biggest change has happened. Walking in, we go through the armory which I built in the first video about this Colosseum. Kitted out with all the necessary armor and weapons for the gladiators to go to battle with. Same goes for the other side. Inside we're met with a docile dragon, surrounded by lava cracks on the floor. This is a very dangerous arena, as you can see. In the stands I added some fire pits, and hanging from the top row some extra banners to make the structure feel more alive. At first I went with actual banners, but it turns out they have a far lower rendering distance, which meant you couldn't see them from the middle of the arena. Wish I had found that out before I placed them all in, but I went with wool now instead, which I think works very nicely. Also on the very top of the stadium I added some dragon heads to really finish off the build. I really like doing this transformation and I think it totally works. Please let me know what you thought of this build in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. There's a few more cinematics at the end, but thank you for the support and have a nice day.